or my dog's a carnivore. I want to feed my dog like a carnivore. Is there any truth to that statement? Who's in animal science nutrition right now? Anyone? Companion animal nutrition?
Took it last year.
Took it last year? Well, what would they say? Are dogs carnivores? Should they? No. Okay. What are they? Omnivores. All right. Very good. Just double checking. You're still teaching the same stuff that I learned in animal science. Okay, good to know. Well, because why am I checking? Because you can read all kinds of crazy hoo-ha stuff on the internet, and some of it is very compelling, and some of it's written by veterinarians, and some of it's written by people who have no link to formal nutrition training whatsoever. But if you are a compelling communicator, you can get a lot of people to believe you. So does anyone know what the BARF diet is? B-A-R-F? Anybody heard of that? Anybody heard of barfworld.com? This is a website to go check out sometime. BARF stands for Bones and Raw Food Diet, or sometimes people say biologically active raw foods. But the BARF diet was started, many years ago by a veterinarian in Australia, Dr. Ian Billinghurst. And he wrote a book called Give Your Dog a Bone. Then that was apparently very popular, so he went on to write another book, Give Your Puppy a Bone. And his philosophy is feeding raw and feeding non-commercial foods and feeding dogs like they're carnivores. They're related to wolves, and even fasting them at least one day a week. And when he talks about bones, he's not talking about like a huge femur from the butcher shop. He's talking about chicken necks and turkey backs, soft cartilage type bones that dogs could chew up and swallow and digest fairly easily. There are a lot of people who really buy into that idea for a variety of reasons, but they just don't want to hassle with all of the mess that raw diets kind of bring along with it. So there's been some pressure in the past 10 years for pet food companies to try to create something similar, but not have it be a raw diet. So there's a lot of different kinds of variations in the pet food industry in commercially prepared commercial stores with commercially prepared foods to have something that looks like it's raw, but it really is kibble. Those foods are very high protein, very high fat, low carbohydrate, and high energy density, and they bring along with it a high price tag too, much higher than store-bought foods. Okay, so we regroup for a minute. Does that prompt anybody to ask any questions? I don't really want to lecture at you. I'd rather that we had a dialogue. Go ahead.
Would it still have the vitamins and everything that they need in the raw?
Good question. The raw diets, do they still have all the microminerals and vitamins that dogs or cats need? Depends on the manufacturer, okay? So at the barfworld.com website, you can not only buy a t-shirt, Barf World, but you can buy some food. And so they've got a lot of merchandise, they've got testimonials, they don't really have any actual research. There's just a little interesting side story. One of our residents was doing a report or a presentation several years ago, and she wanted to do it on raw diets, and so she went to I said to her, you should go to the Barf World website. And they, at the time, this was 6 or 7 years ago, they had, one of their tabs was research. And so she clicked on it, and it didn't have any research studies. It just said, if you were interested in doing some research, we're interested in collaborating with you. So I encouraged her to call them, and she called them, and she tried to ask them, do you have any research studies? Has anyone collaborated with you? Do you have any evidence that this is better? And you've got maybe some actual data to compare against your testimonials. And they said, we'd be happy to collaborate with you. They're like, I know, but have you collaborated with anyone else? And they just wouldn't answer it. So about 3 or 4 months after her presentation, she was doing a little follow-up, and she came to tell me that she'd gone back to that Barf World website and they had taken down that tab about research. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like maybe they just didn't want to deal with those questions anymore.